Brian, tell us about your company Survivor as you came into the TiE program.
Yeah, absolutely. So my company is Survivor. We specialize in virtual reality training for police and the military. So you can kind of imagine you put on a virtual reality headset and we instantly transport you to a variety of different high pressure dynamic environments, including everything from traffic stops to domestic violence situations to active shooters in schools. So everything in between, and we really emphasize communication. So how do you empathize with people? How do you de-escalate instead of always having to resort to force immediately? And with the goal of we just want everybody in our communities to go home at night.
So, who was your customer and at the time, or at least I know we're about to talk about a new chapter for Survivor, but who was your customer at the time of the TIE program and who bought your product? What kind of revenues did you have?
We sold simulators to law enforcement and military agencies across 10 states. So this included entities, from local city-based police departments to state sheriff's offices to we had universities, private security, military, like we had the Air Force, we had the Department of Homeland Security. So we had an interesting mix of customers, and leading up to our acquisition, we were hitting at about 7 figures in revenue annually.
So just to start the conversation about the TIE part before this new chapter, I know you ended up, congratulations, as being the #1 runner-up worldwide, having been representing the top team from TiE Dallas in Texas. But at that particular time, what made you join the TiE Dallas University program? And what were the 1 or 2 aha moments at the local level before we talk about the global level?
Yeah, so one of our angel investors was the champion for TiE Dallas. So he brought me in. At that point, we had done a fairly good number of pitch competitions already, and we were kind of past that stage. And so, if just being open, I think my first reaction was, no, not another one. But I have a good relationship with him, and he really recommended the TiE program. So I said, okay, at the very least, I'll do it for you. And so we got in, and instantly, it didn't take long for me to realize that it's not just an ordinary pitch competition. I think that TiE invests so much into making this a longer journey of learning and discovery for the participants. And so, the pitch competition's at the end, but before that, you have mentorship, you have workshops that are actually really good, a lot better than what I'm used to. And so, I walked away not just with a pitch competition prize, but with a far improved pitch, more than what I anticipated.
Well, in fact, the person who helped you with that pitch is on our call today. So Pradeep,
Yeah.
kudos to you. And what did you see from the start to the finish of the Survivor pitch as Brian was getting ready with different pieces of the TiE University program?
I think I kind of keenly watched Brian from the day he pitched, I think in the mock session, to the day he did the finals. The progression in clarity of thought. The first day itself, we all realized that Brian had a very clear script, and he was sticking to the script, and so there was a very smooth flow. Having a script is one thing, but practicing it is another, and I think Brian had already mastered that art. And what we really helped, I think, probably was on very small, minor points, and he took it up from there. And on the final day, he took storytelling to a different level by bringing in those guns and all the revolvers in the background. It kind of added so much pizzazz to the story. I'm sure the judges were wowed by that. So, Brian, my question to you would be, in terms of being part of the cohort, were there any takeaways for you from the other teams? Did you interact with any of them, and were there any highlights from that?
Yeah, I think my biggest impression from the cohort was just the sheer diversity in both ideas and the teams themselves. There were a lot of really strong pitches there. I was actually kind of nervous going into the competition. We're talking. There are people besides us who've won other competitions and who has impressive traction. And so, I think it was an honor to be among them. I learned a lot from the way that they've developed their pitch. But there's just a really good camaraderie between everyone. I think everyone had a good time. And I think one of the good things about the workshops was they tended to be interactive as well. So it's not just a simple straight lecture from one side to another. It's kind of all this intermingled back and forth, and so it allows us to draw on each other's experiences and really make this a deeper learning experience.
If you were to meet your younger brother or a cousin on the street and were to tell him or her about TiE University, what would you say?
I would say that if, regardless of what stage you're in, whether you're at the very beginning, you're maybe ideation, or maybe you already have a product and it has customers and revenue and it's already off the ground, you're trying to scale it. I'd say, regardless of that, you will probably still walk away from TiE with a much broader knowledge base than you thought possible. Because, going in, I was a little close-minded. I'll admit that. I thought we've gone through so many pitch competitions. The product is off the ground. What more is there to learn? And this is what I'll still tell students today when I go and speak and mentor, is that every single time I've thought that, including at TiE, I just get proven wrong. I just have someone like Pradeep listen to my pitch and tear it down and build it back up all over again. It always happens. And so I'd say, keep an open mind, be humble and listen to the perspectives of everyone involved. There's a lot to learn. I think TiE, especially compared to other programs I've seen and been a part of, does a really good job of bringing those insights in and really transforming your pitch.
Wow, awesome. If there were one or two things you had to tell students who are starting their last few weeks at the global level now, they've competed and been very successful at their local competition level, what would be the one or two, I call them words of wisdoms or do's or don'ts, that you would tell them, knowing what you know from a year ago?
It's important to realize that the connections you make are equally, if not more important. So, with the both of you and the judges and all the different mentors that the participants will be exposed to, I think it's really important to really make the most of this opportunity, make those connections, and maintain them after the fact too. Because that's just the thing. If you can help them, then great. But you never know where these things will go, what kind of doors they'll open. Potential investors, partners, acquirers, and whatnot. So I think, and at the very least, just someone to learn from, to help you move faster and avoid pitfalls along the way. So I think that's really important. Just be very intentional about the relationships that you build and maintain during the program. That's probably the most important thing.